Hello, welcome. I'm Andreas, your tech-curious web designer. In this tutorial, we will code the front end for TikTok's homepage with HTML and tailwindcss. Before we dive in, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and also write a feedback in the comment section below. That would be awesome. And if you want to support my work, subscribe to my Patreon page. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay, and now let's jump into it. A big thank you to all my supporters. I really appreciate you. In this tutorial, we're going to build TikTok's homepage, which we can see here. And this will be our version, with a full screen view of a post in the aspect ratio of 9:16, which is the standard for the portrait format. Then on the right of the image we got some buttons. The first one is a link to the profile page of the author. Then we have the like button with the heart, the chat button to see the comments, the bookmark to save the post, and a share button. And on the very right hand side with a scroll button up and down. The sidebar on the left we will tackle in another video. We will make this page also responsive for large screen sizes and mobile view. So on medium screen sizes the sidebar will collapse and we only will see an icon. Then on small screens even the scroll bar disappears. And on even smaller sizes the whole article will scale down. Alright, let's get coding. We create a new home.html file inside the template folder. Then I get the HTML boilerplate, HTML:5. So the head is the same of all the pages we make. So it's good to always keep the latest version somewhere. I added it to the GitHub repository at github.com/ndjad/tiktok-clone. Go here to head.html and copy the head. And paste it in here. Alright. And now we start with the body. I'm adding here a container with minimum height of 100% dynamic viewport height. This gives me the correct window height on all the devices and browsers. Then I'm using the aside tag for the sidebar. I have it in a fixed position on the left, meaning it stays here even when we scroll down. I give it a yellow background color, the full height of the screen, and a width of 74. And then we have the main container with a green background, again full height of the screen, and the full width. Alright, so save this file. And let's check it out. I click on the Go Live button at the bottom here. This is starting up the live server and opens up the page with the sidebar section and the main section. Next, let's add the logo to the sidebar. A div container for the logo, inside the A tag for the link, and then the image. And then we link it to the image file in the static folder. 2 dots to go back to the root, then /static, /images, /tiktok.png. Then we position the logo, padding left of 4.5 and padding top of 5. Alright, and finally we change the background color to white. Okay. And there we have the sidebar with the logo. The rest of the sidebar we will have a look at in the next video. Now let's focus on the main section. In the main section I add an article element for the post. And also the scroll bar on the right. Here I'm using a custom tag, which you can use to better describe the element. The naming convention for a custom tag is 2 words with a dash, and by default this element is an inline element, like the span tag. Now let's give them some styling. I give the article element a green background color of 300, the full height of the screen, a width of XL, and a margin left and right of auto. This will position the element in the middle. Then the scroll bar, a green background color of 200, with a fixed position to the very right and the very top, with a width of 16, and again the full height of the screen. Okay, let's check it out. And as we can see here, this is our article element, and we have the scroll bar on the right. Now let's style the article element. I create a container which holds the image. I give it a black background color, full height, with rounded corners, and also the aspect ratio of 9:16. This gives me now the portrait format, and we can get rid of the width of the parent container. Then I give this container a padding top and bottom of 2, and left and right of 4. And with flex, justify center and item center, I position the black box exactly in the center of the container. This will be useful later when we make the layout responsive and make the post scale down. Alright. Let's check it out. And here we have this black container. Let's position the buttons now on the bottom right. I add the button element, give it the cursor pointer class so it behaves like a link. Then I add the icon container with fully rounded, size 13, this is width 13 and height 13, and a neutral background color of 100. Then I just add a second button and wrap both of them in a flex box. Flex, flex call, which arranges the elements in a vertical direction and with a gap of 2. Alright, they are for now still inside the black box. Let's move them now outside to the bottom right. For this I position the button container absolute and the parent container, which is the black box relative. Then with a minus right value of 17, I move them outside the container and to the very bottom. Nice, now they are in the right position. As next, let's add an image to the black box. Now we can also get rid of the green background colors and add the image. You can grab an image from my GitHub repository. Here in the images folder, you can take the robot.jpg file, download the file. Then in the project root, I create a media folder. These are files users uploaded. And we move the image in there. Okay. And link it now to the image tag. media/robot.jpg. And to have it in the middle of the black box, I add the flex classes. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, nice. The image is in the middle of the box. But actually, I want to let it fill out the whole area now. For this, I also apply the aspect ratio to the image, give it also the rounded corners, and object cover, which fills the container completely. And now the image is filling out the whole space. Nice.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Next, I add a gradient to the bottom of this image with the author's username and the hashtags. I add here a container for the article info. I define it as a block element. And I give the button container also a custom tag name. Article buttons. This just helps to describe the roles of the different elements. Then I position the article info absolute at the very bottom of the box. And with left 0 and right 0, I can make an absolute positioned element stretch the whole width of the parent container. Then inside this element, we add now the gradient. I give it a height of 64, a background gradient to the top. It starts from black to transparent. I give it opacity of 50 and also rounded corners at the bottom of 2XL, which is matching the rounded corners of the parent container. The gradient is now at the bottom of the image. Let's add now the text. I add a container for the text. I give it margin top of auto. This will push the text to the bottom, but for this to work, the parent container needs to be a flex or grid box. So I change this to flex. Then I give it a padding of 5. Text is white. And a Z index of 10 to stack always over the gradient. Then I add here a link with the username and apply an underline on hover. Okay, and underneath we display the tags. I create a container and add a tag inside. Again with the underline on hover. And margin top of 1 to give it a bit of space. Okay, let's check it out. Nice, we display now the author's username and the hashtag. Next, let's add the buttons. The first one is a link to the author's profile page with an avatar. And an avatar image you can grab again from my GitHub repository. So here we have the avatar.png. Just download this image. Then I place this image inside my media folder. Then here we have the first button, and I add it in here. /media/avatar.png. Then I apply width full and height full to fill out the space of the circle. Object center to ensure the object is centered inside the circle. And object cover not to have the image distorted. And to make it stay inside the circle, I add overflow hidden to the parent container. Alright. And here we have the avatar. Now let's add the red plus icon. I position this element absolute with the parent relative. Background rose 500. Then a darker red when hovering. Size 6. Fully rounded. And I position it from the top with 10. Okay. Now we got the red circle. Let's move it to the center and add the plus icon. So with flex justify center, I move the circle to the middle. And I give this whole button a bottom margin of 4. Here I add now the plus icon. We can grab it again from the GitHub repository. Here do the icons. Here we have the plus icon. I just grab the code, add it in here. Then I give it a size of 3.5 and the fill color of white. And to position this icon in the middle, I give the parent container the classes flex, item center and justify center. Okay, let's check it out. And now we got the whole button with the plus icon. Now let's add the rest of the buttons. So I give the first button the ID of author to better distinguish those buttons. Then next we add the like button. I add here the heart icon from the repository. Then I give it a size of 6 with a black fill. Then I also give it a hover color of neutral 200 and position the icon in the center. Then under the icon I add some text with the number of likes. I give it a bold font. Text is very small with neutral 600 color and a padding top of 1. Okay, let's check it out. Great, we have now the heart icon with the hover effect and the like count. Okay, let's add the rest now. I copy this button. The next has the chat icon with the link to the comments. And swap the icon. Then I copy the button again. The next one is bookmark. Swap the icon. Then copy the button. And the last one is the share button. And swap the icon. Okay, save the file. And let's check it out. And nice, we have all the buttons now here. Okay, now let's style the scroll bar. I first add the button for scrolling up. Again, the icon you can grab from the repository. I give it a size of 6. Then I style the button. Size 12. Fully rounded. With a neutral background color. A darker hover background color. Cursor pointer. And position the icon in the center. Okay. Now the scroll button is here at the top. Let's position it in the vertical center and also add the scroll down button. I copy the button, swap the icon, then I wrap them in a div container. And with flex and flex col, I can add a gap of 4. From the parent container, I remove now the green background and add flex and item center. This is positioning now the element inside in the vertical center. And there we go. We have the scroll up and the scroll down buttons. However, at the very first post, the scroll up button will be disabled. Let's change it now. So at the scroll up button, we get rid first of the hover state and also the cursor pointer. Then we add here fill neutral 400. This makes the arrow gray. And also the cursor not allowed class. Okay. And as we can see, the button appears disabled now. Nice. And with this we have finished styling TikTok's homepage, excluding the sidebar. Now, as last, let's make this page responsive, so it looks good on all screen sizes. So on medium screen sizes, we want the sidebar to collapse and only show an icon for the logo and a grey line, like we see it here on TikTok. And on small screen sizes, also the scroll bar disappears. Let's implement this now. So the sidebar has the width of 74, but we want this width only on large screen sizes. Tailwindcss gives us here some useful breakpoints. And LG colon means that this width is only active on large screen sizes and above. And we have width of 18 as a default, starting for mobile screens. Then we add the grey line with border right of 1 pixel, neutral to 100 color, and no border on large screens. Next, let's add the icon when the sidebar collapses. The icon is in the images folder as icon.png. I move it into my static folder and change here the source file. Then the full logo is hidden on mobile screens, but visible on large screen sizes. We show it with the block class. And for the icon, the opposite. Okay, let's check it out. We are here on the small screen size and see just the icon. But if we make the window bigger, the logo is displayed. Nice. Now let's disable the scroll bar on small screens. So on medium screens we have flex, and on small screen sizes the scroll bar is hidden. Let's make the window smaller, and the scroll bar disappears. Great! But if we make the window even smaller, the image is floating over the sidebar and the buttons get cropped. So on small screen sizes I want the post to scale down, so that the sidebar and the buttons remain visible, as we can see here on TikTok. So I go to my main section and apply here a padding left and right of 18. This corresponds to the width of the sidebar on mobile screens. And then I apply the height full to the post only on large screen sizes, and have it a dynamic height on smaller sizes with max height full. And also max width full. So this is resizing the post depending on the available space. Okay, save this file. Now let's resize the window. And as we can see, the post is scaling down. Nice. We made now our page responsive. Awesome. Alright, and this is all for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. In the next video, we will style the sidebar and add some sliding animations. I hope to see you there. Until then, happy coding my friends, and bye bye for now.